Today, Bitcoin rises after the latest inflation read boosts hopes the Fed is about to cut rates. Blockchain lending company Figure Technologies goes public. And Kyle Samani of Multicoin Capital discusses the firm's more than $1.5 billion deal to create a Solana treasury company. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Brandon Gomez. Crypto markets climbing along with stocks as traders hope the latest reading of a key consumer inflation gauge won't interfere with the Fed lowering rates next week. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin climbed slightly, trading above the $114,000 level. Ether also rose slightly to $4,413, and Solana's SOL token climbed to $226. The moves higher came after it was revealed that the consumer price index rose 2.9% on an annual basis in August, the fastest pace of inflation since January. Discussing recent market action on Squawk Box this morning, Galaxy CEO Mike Novogratz said he believes Bitcoin is moving sideways because altcoins are having their moment with treasury companies.
Bitcoin's at a consolidation right now, partly because you're seeing a lot of these treasury companies in other coins take their shot, right? So Tom Lee's company, the Ethereum company, as have come. We closed just yesterday $1.65 billion in Forward Industries, a Solana ecosystem company, which I'd love to talk about in a second. That's bringing energy into the crypto space. It's bringing money into the crypto space. And Bitcoin is kind of going sideways a little bit, I think, while these other ecosystems are having their moment. I think probably we have another big surge up towards the end of the year in Bitcoin as the Fed starts the cutting cycle.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. Blockchain lending company Figure Technologies is now trading on the Nasdaq. The IPO was priced at $25 a share, and the firm is offering more than 31 million shares. The company jumped nearly 30% when it started trading today. This morning, Figure's co-founder and executive chair Mike Cagney rang the opening bell at the Nasdaq. He also spoke with CNBC about the company's growth and profit trajectory.
We were GAAP profitable last year. We were actually contemplating going public last year, and for a whole host of reasons we didn't do it. It wasn't the most hospitable environment for a blockchain company to go public last year. That's changed a lot in terms of both the SEC and the market appetite for it. Last year we did $340 million of revenue. We were over $100 million in EBITDA. EBITDA growth for the first 2 quarters of this year is over 66% on an annualized basis. The company is still growing very rapidly. So it's a unique intersection of a relatively young company, a very profitable company, and a very fast growing company.
This comes as a wave of crypto firms pursue IPOs under a friendlier administration towards the industry. In fact, Gemini, the crypto exchange founded by the Winklevoss twins, is expected to go public tomorrow. All right, back to the trend of digital asset treasury companies for our main story. Design company Forward Industries announced it closed a $1.65 billion deal led by Multicoin Capital, Galaxy Digital, and Jump Crypto to launch a treasury focused on Solana. The announcement coincides with a rise in crypto treasuries, but also after we saw some of these companies struggle to perform in August. I spoke with Kyle Samani, co-founder and managing partner of Multicoin and now chairman of the board for Forward, about the deal. Not an insignificant day. Just today we learned design company Forward Industries closed a $1.65 billion deal led by Multicoin Capital, Galaxy Digital, and Jump Crypto, to create a Solana treasury. You've been appointed chairman of the board in this deal. Can you talk to me a little bit about this new treasury company and why you felt like it was the right time to jump in on the trend here?
Yeah. So first, few things to announce this week. It's been super exciting week. I was actually at the All In Summit this past week, or earlier this week, I should say, and had a chance to present there about the future of internet capital markets. The All In folks will be releasing that video here pretty shortly. But the kind of idea here is to talk about how we're going to bring the future of securities, FX trading, everything on chain. It's really amazing to see this at All In because that audience kind of captures so many people and mainstream around the world. In terms of what Forward Industries is doing, the company, the management team at Forward Industries realized a little while ago that there's a big opportunity for them to make a play as a Solana treasury company. So we were very fortunate to get in touch with them and ultimately kind of work with them to execute on the strategy. Today we announced the closing of a $1.65 billion pipe. And a few cool notes to add about that. First is, in addition to Multicoin's investment, I actually invested $25 million personally into the vehicle as well. showing really my excitement, dedication, and commitment to the opportunity. Second is we got this money raised in 2 weeks. The demand for this thing was off the charts. We had to cut a bunch of people back. And we just recognized that like institutional investors around the world want to have access to Solana. They want to have access to a company and a management team that knows the Solana ecosystem and industry, and that can ultimately do interesting things in that position, in that role. And so we're very, very fortunate and excited to be here. The company is super excited as well. It's a Nasdaq listed company, and the ticker is FORD, FORD.
Yeah, and I think you bring up an interesting point when you're talking about demand, right? And that's sort of what I'm curious about is, why Solana? Because we've seen, Bitcoin treasuries, then Ether treasuries, and now, Solana seems to be of growing interest, as you sort of point out, in terms of the demand that you saw. I mean, what made you pick that token specifically as the one to accumulate in terms of this deal?
Yeah, I would actually disagree with the frame of your question, Brandon. I picked Solana 8 years ago. Multicoin as a firm is very famous for having invested in the Solana seed round all the way back in early 2018. We have continually increased our investment in Solana over that time. I've written about Solana on our website extensively, and we made the investment all the way back dating 7 or 8 years ago because we understood the vision for internet capital markets to trade every asset in the world on one global unified ledger, and we saw the opportunity for Solana's technology strategy to be the one that would get there. And the Solana blockchain today is 5.5 years old, and it has now proven that it is the most performant blockchain in the world that can handle settling global securities markets. For some context on that, the Solana blockchain can process 14 billion transactions per day, and that's enough to settle all global securities markets, not just NYSE, not just Nasdaq. You could take LSE, you could take Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, every securities market around the world, and you could settle them on Solana at its current capacity today.
I want to zoom us out a little bit. We're on the heels of another Fed decision too. Many are expecting another cycle of rate cuts ahead. Do lower rates make you more aggressive, at least when it comes to accumulating sort of this crypto for your digital asset treasury?
Lower rates are generally good for crypto because it encourages builders around the world to go do things and build. And look, the point of Solana is to facilitate internet capital markets. We want people to form capital, to invest, and to do things. And so lower rates are good for Solana in that sense. I don't think lower rates make us more aggressive on how we hit the buy button, but certainly it's good for the growth of the ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah, to your point, opening up the appetite in terms of perhaps availability or accessibility of these assets.
That's correct. Yeah, lower interest rates means investors are incentivized to take risk and to go build and go do interesting new creative things around the world, and we're very excited for that to happen on Solana.
No, how do you differentiate, sort of as a crypto treasury in an environment that's, only getting busier? We talked a little bit about sort of the Bitcoin, the Ether, Solana. Obviously, you've mentioned sort of your early stake there. How do you differentiate as a crypto treasury in an environment that's, getting busier for this trade? We've seen so many treasuries come to market, as I've sort of pointed out. Some struggled to perform in the market in August. How do you plan to cut through, I guess, the noise, so to speak?
Yeah, look, everything is execution. And what is execution? Execution is the people who are doing the work. And I feel really confident that we have the absolute dream team to build the world's leading Solana treasury. I think the fact that we raised 1.65 billion out of the gate is certainly a testament to that. But let me tell you a little bit, though, about the team. I'm very fortunate. I founded Multicoin. I've been invested in Solana since literally the very beginning. And today, Multicoin is one of the most active investors in the Solana ecosystem. We've made 25, 30 different investments in the Solana ecosystem over the last 5-6 years. So we know everyone in industry. We're very plugged in. We seeded most of the major Solana ecosystem teams today. Teams like Jito, Drift, Camino, and many others. The folks at Jump is one of the largest trading firms in the world across all asset classes, and they are the largest trading firm in crypto. They've been trading crypto since, I think, 2015 or 16. Jump also very famously is building a new validator client for the Solana network called FireDancer. I won't get into all the technicals other than to say FireDancer is a massive technical upgrade to the Solana network, all 100% open source, and all the development work is being done by the folks at Jump. They know more about Solana in terms of code base and technicals than basically anybody. And then we have the folks at Galaxy. And Galaxy brings a massive trading vehicle, trading operation with them. They have an asset management division, which is working with Forward Industries. They have deep staking operations and expertise. We're going to be earning industry-leading yield via staking. And they bring all of the capital markets expertise. There's a big opportunity in M&A for our vehicle. There's a big opportunity for obviously fundraising, both common stock and other instruments. And there's obviously big opportunities to acquire Solana, and specifically locked Solana tokens. One of the most interesting things about Galaxy is that the FTX bankruptcy estate had to sell their SOL tokens, which were locked, and Galaxy facilitated the sale of those tokens. So the folks at Galaxy know literally every single person who owns locked SOL tokens, and we will be using a portion of the treasury to buy locked Solana tokens so that we can accrete even more SOL per share for our shareholders.
Again, sort of to zoom out a little bit further, right? We're obviously talking about the tokens here, but in terms of use cases, can you talk a bit about why investors, at least it seems at this stage, are paying attention to treasuries as well as, or rather instead of the assets themselves? I mean, do you agree with that case, or do you still feel like the conversation is about the tokens? And maybe as a follow-up, sort of, what do these companies unlock?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, look, the reason I'm doing this, Multicoin's doing this, I'm putting in 25 million, and being a very public face for this thing, is that there's a really big opportunity to actually pioneer the future of what you can do as a publicly traded company. And let me give you a few examples of that. The first is we have this big balance sheet of Solana, dollars, other stuff too, and we can do interesting things with that. Unlike Bitcoin, which doesn't do anything, Solana has this thriving DeFi ecosystem. Today, Solana is the leading blockchain almost every single day in terms of on-chain trading volumes. And that creates an opportunity for us to use our SOL and our USD on the balance sheet to participate as actively in DeFi and earn incremental yield for our shareholders. Moreover, given our scale and given our relationships in the ecosystem, again, we know basically everyone in the Solana community, we're going to be able to negotiate deals to drive even more shareholder value for our shareholders. The other really exciting things we want to do here, as an example, we want to go to big banks, get lock-in loans from banks at 4.5%, whatever rate we can get from them, and then we can take those dollars and deploy them on-chain on Solana into yield strategies that can earn in the rate of 10 to 20%. And obviously that spread is value for our shareholders. By having active management, by having relationships, and by doing the work, we can actually drive incremental value for our shareholders above and beyond what you could get either in an ETF format or just by buying the native underlying.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today. We're back again tomorrow. We'll see you then.